Hey folks, welcome back to your video for this week. Just want to go over things really briefly. Um, for this week, right before spring break, you have several readings on TV. So researchers, writers, authors making arguments about a TV show. So you have one about the TV show Cops, which was yanked because of racism, but then but then came back on Fox. Um, then you have one about disability on Game of Thrones, and then you have another one about how the family, especially the middle class, lower class families, have been portrayed on TV for the last few decades. Um, so read those, and then you have a couple readings on argumentation and writing, the they say, I say, and developing paragraphs. So your homework this week is to use a couple of our readings, the developing paragraphs. I want you to write a definition paragraph of propaganda. So read what the different types of paragraphs are, and you'll use those for the editorial, the op-ed, right? You should use many of those types of paragraphs. So read that first, then take a look at this short chapter on propaganda by Douglas Hyatt Peach of Eastern Kentucky University. Right? Who is this person? They're a university researcher, right? You can say that. So he gives a definition of what propaganda is, and then he looks at the TV show Cops as an example, or Dragnet. So I want you to write a definition paragraph of, okay, what is propaganda? Right? What is that? What does it mean? How do we define that? Put it in your own words. You can also quote, but I also want you to put it in your own words. So use summary and paraphrase. Then use another type of paragraph from this paragraph reading, cause and effect, comparison paragraph, classification, and then write another paragraph about propaganda. So you could do a solution paragraph. Well, how do we solve, propaganda on TV, right? What do we do about this if it truly exists, right? So that's part of your homework. Then you have this fun little they say, I say reading. This is really interesting. This helps you respond to other writers. Right? Before we can respond, right, and enter a conversation, right, with our own ideas, our own opinions, we have to read first, right? So you're reading these authors, these researchers, these writers on TV. They're analyzing TV. They're evaluating a TV show. And then, after you read these people, these critics, these researchers, then you can respond, right? But first you want to listen, right? What are they saying? What's their point? Can you summarize them? And then you want to respond, right? Do you disagree with them, with their ideas? And you can see that there's templates here, right? And I want you to practice using these templates this week. They'll help you disagree, agree, and both agree and disagree. So I want you to respond to any of these researchers this week. Pick your favorite. If you want to write about the Game of Thrones one article or the family on TV, make sure you name the person, the critic from this week that you're agreeing with or disagreeing with or both, right? So I think media studies critic Katie Ellis is mistaken because she overlooks the fact that Tyrion is actually a stereotype. His disability is often linked with he's a prince. He's not a normal everyday person. He has many of the characters on Game of Thrones have a superpower, and it's linked to disability. So it's sort of an irresponsible portrayal of disability, right? So I'm disagreeing with these critics. So that would be one. Let me agree with them now using one of these templates. I agree. Katie Ellis's theory is extremely useful, this media researcher, because it shed lights on this difficult problem of how disability is often portrayed on TV shows like Big Bang. It's often considered tragic, a superpower. It's not portrayed as, as an everyday thing. It's still sort of fetishized or superannuated in some way. So I'm agreeing. And then the nicest one is to agree and disagree with the critic or researcher or writer, right? It's sort of the best of both worlds. You can agree and disagree. So I like to start with agreement and then, slip in a little bit of disagreement. And folks, your claim, we're doing this because your claim for your op-ed, your editorial should come out of a reaction, a response to one of these readings that we've read, right? We're not making up conversations or positions. We're responding to what people have said before us. If not, then we're probably just going to repeat the facts and ideas that have come before us. So this is a great way to start with, okay, the researchers are saying this, right? Here, let me summarize what they're saying. But I think something different. So these templates are a great way to establish what others have said, right? And to differentiate or to make that distinct from what your idea is, right? Because you don't want to blur those things. You want to be like, okay, researchers like Katie Ellis say this, right? Let me summarize it, but I'm going to say something slightly different, or I'm going to add something else to it, right? So that your claim, your argument is very clear, right? And it clearly is in response to another real researcher or author. Okay, so that is essentially your homework this week, is to work with these templates, work with those types of paragraphs, and then just get that up, upload that to the assignment box for Friday night, and email me if you have any questions. And I want to show you guys my new puppy. Say hi. Say hi. So she's a handful. I love her. And again, one of these readings or two of these readings should really be the basis for your paper, for your op-ed, right? You should be reacting to one of these critics or researchers. If you're interested in family, right, on TV, or class or income, this is your reading, right? The family portrayed on TV. It's an older article, so you could totally apply this, right? You could do an application theory. I'm going to apply these ideas, right, that they talk about in older shows to a newer show, right? So you're making new observations. You're making new data, right? So, okay, this critic, Linda Glennon and Richard Booch, right? Who are they? They're TV studies critics. They're media studies critics, right? They look at TV in the past. I want to apply their insights about family as portrayed on television. I want to apply it to a current show, right? I want to look at, The Simpsons or Family Guy. The fathers are often seen as buffoons, and the wife, has it all together and has to run everything, right? They look at that in the past. It's still going on, right? Bob's Burgers, right? He's a buffoon, and the wife has it all together. So why is that happening? Why is the husband often seen as a buffoon, and the wife is often collected, and everything is put together, right? There's this weird, right? They have to fit those like archetypes or stereotypes. Like, what's going on there, right? So you can analyze that. You're going to tell us something new because that hasn't been done before, right? This has only been looked at in older shows. So there's some ideas for claims, ideas to work. Email me, folks, like you have, if you have any questions. Yeah, thanks again. Bye.